What up, what up, what up, man? It's your boy Quay. This is another episode of the Quality Time Podcast. Today, I'm going to have a conversation with some well-respected gentlemen that I know. I call them brothers, family. Any title like that will do. A few gentlemen that I'm going to introduce once I bring them in. We're going to have a real discussion about men and relationships, and how we can have a positive impact on young men in our society, young black men especially, on how to build and create and develop strong relationships with black women. So give me a second. Let me add everybody in. Yo, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I got you.
Bro, I hear you, bro. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on with you?
What's going on? Hold on real quick. I have to remove my banner. Yeah. Hide that. I want to be able to see everybody's face.
All right,
I got you.
Yeah. T's supposed to be coming on, man. So whenever he pop on at the bottom, I add him in. But man, so y'all boys know what I wanted to reach out and talk to y'all about and have our discussion about. So I appreciate y'all, first of all, for coming on and being able to get up here with me. And I know we was watching the game. I just finished watching the game, so I ain't gonna try to take too much of y'all time for this next game come on. So we go ahead and jump into this conversation, man. But first, again, welcome. Appreciate y'all boys for hopping up here. The first thing y'all know, if y'all done seen the episode, I always ask everybody to introduce themselves. So I'll start with you, Harvey. Just go, quick intro, who you are, what you do. Shout out your podcast also.
Yeah. So I'm Harvey. I go by Othello Jones on the podcast. Co-founder of the Latchkey Kid podcast, the last voice of a generation, and we just be out here. You can find us on all platforms.
Bet. Tay.
Oh, how y'all doing, everybody? I'm Tay Love, Goldsboro. Pretty much born and raised, Goldsboro High School. Went to school with Quay and Tago. So pleasure to be here.
Appreciate it. Tago.
First of all, man, Clay, man, I appreciate you for having me on, bro. Proud of what you got going on, man. But
Appreciate that.
I'm Tago, co-founder of Bridging the Gap Youth Foundation, Goldsboro native, truck driver. I'm in my truck right now. Yeah, that's about it, though.
All right, bet. And again, with T hop on, we'll pause and let him give his intro as well. But the first thing that I want to ask, and this is the first question I want to present to y'all. I asked all of y'all up here specifically for a few reasons. Again, like I told y'all, I respect y'all as men, first of all, fam, brothers, all that. Secondly, I respect y'all for, being stand-up citizens, like all y'all stand-up guys. And lastly, y'all have, very, very beautiful marriages and relationships that I'm proud to witness and see. So I wanted to have y'all up here from that perspective because I told y'all I wanted us to talk about how we can help the next generation and other people like myself who are single and dating and shit develop those type of bonds and things that y'all have in y'all relationships with the women in y'all life or women that they meet in the future. So that's why I wanted y'all up here. So I do want y'all to let everybody know, again, we'll start the same rotation, how long you've been married and your family dynamic. So if you have kids or whatever.
Okay. I've been married 6 going on 7 years. I got 3 kids, 1 from a past relationship and two from my current wife.
All right.
I've been married to my beautiful wife, Talissa, for 8 years. Currently no kids. And it's been a beautiful journey.
I bet.
I've been married to my beautiful, amazing, wonderful wife, Kendra, for 3 years now. We've been together 5, been married 3 years. I'm the baby of the crew up here, I guess. But yeah, we have 3 kids though. I have 1 from a previous relationship, and we have 2 together. 10, 20 months, and 7 months.
All right, bet. And welcome Tolliver to the stage. What's going on, bro?
What's up, brother?
So we just went and had a quick intro. So I asked the fellas the same thing. Give us a quick intro, who you are, and then also how long you've been married and your family dynamic.
I've been married for 5 years now. There's myself, my wife, her daughter, my daughter, and then we share a goddaughter. So it's kind of a super blended family. My wife is Hispanic and white. My stepdaughter is half Hispanic, half white, and then black. And then my goddaughter is half black, half Filipino, and then my daughter is black. So we have a super blended family here. Yeah.
All right, appreciate that. And then lastly, myself, since I'm going to participate in this, all y'all know since y'all know me. I'm divorced. I've been divorced going on, I want to say 4 years now, maybe 5. I don't know. I really quit counting, but somewhere along that time, me and my son's mom, we do have a great co-parenting relationship. So that's my only child. So right now I'm single dating. So that's my dynamic as well. So again, appreciate y'all for that. So we're gonna hop right into this. So first question for all y'all, whoever want to go can go. When did you know that your wife was the one? Like what was it? What moment? What did she say? What did she do? What did she have on? Like when did you know? I kind of know a little bit about Tego and Dante's. I was kind of around for those moments, but when did you know? Let me start with Tolliver.
What's funny? I laugh about that because I was out on deployment when I asked. I actually text my wife my proposal because I was out in Cameroon. And how did I know? Or what was the moment? There really wasn't one specific. It was just that she accepted me the way that at the time I was. And something I learned over the years was that you love someone for who they are in hopes that, they grow and get better, but you love them in that moment right now. And you don't pressure them to be somebody that they aren't or what they can be or anything like that. She just loved me as I was, and that was really moving. So that was one of the indicators. And another was that, she's a really, really, my wife is a really sweet person. I think everybody's going to say that, but she's a really nice person. She really cares. I think I told, you and Harvey and some of our other friends, she worked in an inpatient behavioral health unit in Korea. But, even before that, she's just a really compassionate person and really just cares about people. And that was just something I wanted around in my life. Just her spirit, just really being so sweet to everybody, regardless. So those were the two biggest things that kind of said like, hey, this is somebody that I need and want on my journey.
Bet. Whoever feel free, go next. Y'all ain't gotta play the teacher role here. Whoever want to jump in there.
I'll go ahead and jump in. So for me, mine was my first duty station. I was stationed up in Washington, and I had went to Vegas. I think I had went to Vegas for like a 4-day or something like that. I flew out to Vegas, had fun partying, all the stuff we used to do like that. And then I ended up flying back, and I got sick. Like I ended up having what's called a spontaneous pneumothorax or something like that. So basically, my lung partially collapsed. And during that time, me and my wife was dating, so it wasn't nothing like, we were serious, but it was just we were still in the dating phase, still trying to figure each other out, still trying to learn each other. So I went to the hospital. They admitted me. I think I was in there for like 2 days, and then I was put on quarters. So basically, I had to go stay in my barracks room or whatever, and I couldn't leave. I was on bed rest. So she basically, instead of me going to the barracks, she was like, "All right, you could come to my house." So I went to her house, and she basically took care of me the entire time. She called my mom. She didn't know my mom. She was able to reach out, let her know everything that was going on with me. She basically took care of me, And that right there was like that was the point for me. I was like, okay, I got to keep her around, and then things just kind of progress from there, and then eventually we end up getting married like a year and a half later.
I bet. I remember that. I remember all that. All right, Tego, Othello, whichever one.
For me, man, it wasn't. I can't recall one specific thing. It was a multitude of things, man. More importantly, it was her consistency. Like, she was always consistent in who she was. Like, you wait for that switch up. Like, she was all across the board consistent in her actions and her words. When she said something, she meant it. She said she was gonna do something, she did it. It was just her consistency, and along with the way she treated our daughter from my previous relationship. Like, I never once had to question how she felt about her. She always welcomed her with open arms. She always treated her like she came out of her body. That's what it was for me, man. It was that consistency in her actions and the way she treated my daughter.
All right, bet.
Okay, so for me, I've been pursuing my wife since high school. I got no play in high school. I got friend zone in high school.
No.
So but we stayed cool throughout the years. I ended up getting married and getting divorced, and she was there through all of that, just in a friend role. And then her relationships kept falling out. So eventually I was like, yo, we always here for each other. Like, why not just take that step? And we took that step, and that's when we both realized around the same moment, it's like, oh, wow, like, you're my best friend. So, like, all right, this is already established. Let's move to the next step. So she ended up getting pregnant with my daughter right before I went to Korea. We tied the knot. I came to Korea, and
I'm sorry, can I interject here real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So when you came to Korea, you just got married?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which
That's crazy.
explain.
I didn't know that either.
Neither did I.
That explains some of the actions. I was like literally less than 6 months married.
That's crazy. That's a testament to your marriage, to the strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats, brother.
Yeah, for real.
Appreciate it.
Because again, I jump in because again, I was really probably right around the same time frame, maybe a little bit longer. But as you see, it has those ebb and flows, especially with that Korea trip. Like, it was a lot of self learning that we had to do about ourselves, and a lot of shit that you went through. So I attest and can respect the fact that your marriage was able to build off of that. Because again, as y'all know me, I'm transparent. Mine wasn't. So it's good to see somebody on the other side, because I didn't know that. I thought you were married for a minute. So to know that we were both really kind of going through it at the same time, that shit is big. Like, that's big, man. Because as all of us everybody Tego's in the military, but hell, Tego, you leave home, you on the road for a long time when you first started driving. Like, that time away and that distance, like, that's something that I feel like can really impact relationships more than anything else, because you get so used to something, then once it's gone, it's like, can I keep it? Can I rebuild it? And if I don't, or we don't, then what's the outcome? So salute on that. Now for y'all, now we about to take a step back. If you're around your wife, tell them, hey, we just having a conversation. We're talking about who I was before you met me and before I became this great husband. But I want to have this real conversation because, again, it's about talking about stuff that we don't talk about in our community and showing the younger generation, the younger black men, our sons and little brothers and little cousins and nephews, how you actually, go about things. But to know how to get somewhere, you got to know where you came from. So how did y'all view dating or marriage or women before marriage? Like, how was it?
Oh, man.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, listen, I told y'all we was gonna talk about it.
Hey, listen, Tay and Quay, I go first and keep this short and sweet, because y'all know who I was before I got married. Y'all. Hey, listen, it won't nothing but a piece of meat to me. If,
Hey,
if if I say something to you, if I'm trying to get at you, I mean you already know what time it is. So
yep.
hey, that's simple as said though.
Hey, yeah, just to
I
go with
want no
Tago's.
good. I want no good.
Hey, hey, same here. Just to add to what Tago said. I mean, before my wife, I think I might have had one relationship where I consider it like a real relationship. You know what I'm saying? And then other than that, it was just having fun, just living life. You know what I mean? Like the partying we used to do, the strip clubs and all that. So it was just about having fun for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, y'all again, we all from the us three, we all from the same spot, same hood, same. We know that's
Hey,
what it was.
one more.
Mhm.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I another thing that's important, right? You know how we came up in the inner city. I've never in my life seen a healthy relationship, so I didn't think it existed. So that wasn't never even in the back of my mind. So
Yep.
I've been in relationships. I was before my marriage. I was in a relationship for years, but I didn't view it as us getting married and being together forever. I never viewed it like that. I never seen that a healthy relationship. I never was taught that, so that was never even in my mind.
Yep. And that's a good point that you make, like, cause I thought about that. Like, I think about that a lot, like, especially when I was going through my whole, situation, even the marriage part before we even, split. I was like, damn, like I can probably name like two married couples that I've known or seen throughout my life. And it wasn't one like in the home, but it was like, family, relatives or whatever. But that was like you said, that wasn't something that was like a common thing to see a healthy like relationship, marriage. It wasn't like a lot of it, like, and that's again not to get off topic, but our generation is gonna be the bridge to that because gentlemen like yourself, me once, somebody, snatch me up out these streets, we'll be the ones that be able to set that example for the ones who want to look for it or don't even subconsciously know that they're seeing marriages and black marriages out there like that because we didn't know until we got older that we didn't see them like Tego said. So now the more that we are able to put it out there into the atmosphere and make it normal and make it cool and fun, that's what the push is. Like just like even with athletes and celebrities now, making it cool to be an NBA player or football player, and first thing you see is them and their wife and their kids. You don't just see them out here, minus a few, hitting the strip clubs and wilding with women and doing the crazy thing. You see the actual relationship parts. I think that's a real big thing.
Yeah, for me, it was I'm out here in these streets, man. I'm running. Don't ask me about what we are, what we doing. Hey, we having a good time. We're in the moment.
Yeah.
It's not a hey, we're dating exclusive. You do you, I do me. We live our life independently. And the reason for that, in my mind, now looking back at it, the age of 35 as opposed to, those 20s, and like the brother said, I didn't have a positive example. Growing up in the church, you see older people who've been married for years, 40, 50 years like this. And then as you get older, you realize those people aren't even happy together. They're just there together because that's just the standard. That's just what they know. I reflect on like Kwame Brown was talking about, women did this and men did that. But when you look at our social structure back then, our society back then, you as a woman are just staying. There's stability. Yeah, he out here in these streets, and doing this and that. But this is what it is. And for outward appearance's sake, you just dealt with it. And I didn't. My dad was gone. He left. He and my mom had their issues, and other people in the family. I didn't see too many positive reflections of what marriage looks like. My grandparents were married for forever, but my granddad and grandma were like in their 80s and 90s. So I'm like, well, that's just normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But seeing people married like I am now, that was uncommon, growing up and seeing a dad in the household, a black dad with the kids in the household, that was uncommon, So my view was just that, hey, we're out here having fun. We're young. You want the same thing I want. We don't have to play around and pretend. We can just be transparent. And I'm gonna be upfront with you. Like, I just want to hang out. We're gonna get the goods. We're gonna get them skins, and once it's done, it's done. If you want to come back for more, I'm here. But other than that, we not about to sit here and put labels on each other. Like John Legend said, we're just ordinary people living. Yeah, nah, that was none of that. So, but now, like you said, reflecting back, a lot of that, stems from not having those examples growing up of what a man in the household looks like, what it means to love a woman, what it means to stand up and show strength in a relationship. Because I think a lot of times we think, for me, this is just me speaking, I ain't crying in front of her, I ain't sad, I'm good, I'm straight, but there's a lot more to it than just that. So my perception has changed, but in the beginning, yeah, it was pretty shallow.
Let's go ahead, Playboy.
So I guess for me, and it's gonna sound horrible because I had that. My parents have been together for 30 plus. So I saw my mother and my father go through it, but I also saw like my granddad maintain 2 households. You feel me? We call him Hound Dog for a reason. So when we used to go and visit or whatever, I'd be like, yo, where Hound at? My grandma would be like, oh, Hound at that other bitch house. Excuse my language. She had that other woman house. So it's just like, oh, that's cool. All right. You know what I mean? My grandmother would call the other woman's house and be like, send my husband home. He got to pay the bills. That's the type of time they was on, So even though like my mother and father were there, and that's not the dynamic of their relationship, as a young man seeing that, like that's player, and everybody want to be player, Now the kids want to be running around pushing P or whatever they want to say, but it's just like, that's what I was raised to think. Oh, that's acceptable. That's how you treat a woman. And, a woman is to hold a man down. So I had little situationships here and there. You feel me? And multiple at one time. So.
That's at Alabama in you. That's why.
Hey, it is what it is.
All right. Go ahead.
I add something real quick because I don't want people to see this and be like, oh, to clarify, I grew up in a household. My mom and dad been married 27 years. So
Facts.
Yeah, my mom been married 27 years, but the dynamic of me and my father's relationship was built more so in the streets than it was a father and son bond. So when I say I haven't seen or was taught that, I mean I haven't seen what my depiction of a healthy marriage. Yeah. And I just wanted to clarify that.
To piggyback off of that, it's like growing up, to my pops, I wasn't like, I was his son, but more so than anything, I was a little homie. Like, hey, come here.
Exactly.
Hey, let me show you this. You feel me? My pops used to speak to me in parables. He'd be like, boy, you out here playing in these bushes. One day you're gonna get burned. Just remember that. You feel me? Like that's how we communicated, even to this day. So it's like, yeah, even though you have that, it's like, it's not, hey, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna treat women like this because of this, that, and the other. We're gonna you have to communicate to establish a healthy relationship. Nah, it was none of that.
Never heard.
It was like, hey, your mama tripping. Y'all wanna go? Like, come on, let's go to a football game or something. Your mama tripping.
And you hit on the very next question I was gonna ask y'all, because you hit it right in the head. You said you got to communicate in order to establish, a healthy relationship and make it work. So how important is communication? That's something that I have learned, especially over the past, something I have focused on a lot over the past 3 years of becoming a better communicator, not just with women, but in life, period. Instead of thinking that I'm saying something for people to understand, trying to make sure I'm saying it in a way that they'll understand. So how do y'all think the importance of it is in that dynamic of a marriage or just a relationship that you feel like that you want to lead to marriage?
I got to jump in on this one because as a big one in this household for me, um, how important is communication? Paramount. Like it's the cornerstone of any relationship. And here's the thing, for us as men, it's not always verbal. I have learned to look at my wife and read the room. If that ain't something that's the truth of life, is learning to read the room with your wife in it, I tell you, it'll save your life. Because sometimes I'll do something, say something, whatever, or is going on, and I'm not thinking anything of it, but it's affecting her differently. And she's a woman, like you said, the woman's to hold you down. She doesn't want to disrupt the boat. She don't want to rock the boat. So she'll say, you know what, I'll rock with it. I'll go with whatever. But really, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? But we as men have to pay attention to how they're communicating non-verbally, whether it's, your body language, whether it's, how receptive they are to this thing or whatever the case may be. Or in what I've also learned is, just for example, she says, Wendell, I have an appointment at 3. And I say, cool, that's fine. All right, you got an appointment at 3 on Monday, whatever time, place, whatever, right? And then I come back and I say, hey, there's this thing going on at 3:00. You trying to be a part of that or whatever? And she's like, I told you I got something going on. It's treating whatever they have going on as it's important. Because if I told her that, she's like, okay, let me shift around, let me do this and that and whatever, is treating their stuff with the same level of importance as they treat ours. So communicating is not just verbal. It is all aspects of life. And it is the key, I believe, to any successful relationship. And when I get a successful relationship, I'll come back on this podcast and tell you how we learn to communicate off the bat. But it's paramount, brother. Like I can't put enough emphasis on the communication and comprehension, really listening, truly listening to what they have to say.
All right.
Yeah, just to add on to what he said too. Communication is definitely key, but I think more importantly too, it's the healthy communication that's the real driving point of the relationship. Because you could communicate all day. For me, in my situation, like I've been married 8 years, and I'd be the first to tell you I was a horrible communicator. Like that's still one of my, one of my weak points, or one of the things, shall I say, that I'm working on now to get better at. It's just gonna be a continuous thing because I'm just terrible at it. But even with getting better, the communication, okay, I will communicate, but then I had to learn that, okay, just because I'm it was just kind of like a check the block thing for me. Like, all right, I'm just gonna communicate because I know that's what needs to be done. But then it turned into, okay, this ain't working, and now we back to square one of having arguments or disagreements or whatever, because we just communicating and I'm not really putting in the effort. So then I had to take another step back and realize, like, okay, I need to really communicate. So the healthy communication, like really getting into the weeds and like asking them some of them questions that I wouldn't normally ask in the past, just to grow. And since I've been doing that, like everything just continues to get better and better and better. So yeah, definitely, I say healthy communication is really important for a relationship.
And let me cut Harvey off real quick with this one too. Like the brother said, healthy communication, learning their language of communication too. What really, you know what I mean? Because it's crazy how like the small things can have such a big impact if you're not communicating on the same language, in the same platform, in the same way, because like he said, effectively, we got to learn their language, just like they're trying to learn our language. How do I reach her? How do I communicate with her? You know what I mean? I know for a fact, if I want to get Harvey's attention, I'm gonna say, Harvey, this has something to do with fashion. This has something to do with a way to invest and make money, or music. And a side bonus, hey, this has something to do with social media. Harvey's listening. Harvey's paying attention. I know that. And it's crazy but how do I do it with my wife? Downstairs of five years or something like that. You know what I mean? So we got to learn that love language of how to communicate. What are they speaking in? What makes a difference to them? I learned that, like you were saying, effective communication. I learned that.
All right.
So I know it's gonna sound corny for all of those that have been in the military. If you are in the military and you go through MRT, Master Resiliency Training, pay attention. All it talks about is communication. And one of the things that I had to learn is, like, not only when you have an argument or a disagreement or something up, you're like, what's wrong? That now you're trying to actively communicate. Now you got to passively communicate too. Like, oh, you guys are walking in the hallway, you bump each other. Oh, it's not playful, it's not jokey. Okay, something might be going on, something might be bothering her. Let me go and figure out and see what that is. Like, making sure that everybody's needs is taken care of and communicated consistently and effectively. So my thing is, like, I can sit down and ask you 200 questions and get everything that I need from that. That's how I communicate. That is not how my wife communicates. So when we sit down and have, discussions, in-depth discussions, I'm going, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? She's like, why are you badgering me? Why are you asking the same thing in a different way? And like, okay, you know what? This isn't working. Let me just sit back and listen to you. You speak freely and tell me your views.
Yeah.
And being man enough to realize that and laying your pride to the side to actually do it. Like, realizing it is one thing. Like, dang, we don't communicate that well. Have an argument and it was like, after the argument, well, that could have been better. Yeah. Nah, but what are you gonna do to make it better?
So those are facts.
Gotcha.
Man, so man, it's in our household. That's the most important word in our household. And not only communicating, but effectively communicating, having those tough conversations that you might want to avoid or nobody wants to talk about. Just sitting down, and that even goes down to our kids. We do this thing in our household where we sit down at our kitchen table every week, and everybody have a voice. Well, everybody that can talk have a voice. We all communicate. Like, and the thing is, on the back end of that is not only communicating but learning how to listen. Because a lot of men, a lot of us, we just listen to reply. Like, we don't really understand the art of listening versus the act of listening. The act of listening is sitting back. Oh, you didn't hear what I said, and then regurgitate back what you said to me. That just means your ears work. Of course you heard. Of course I'm talking. The art of listening is sitting down and making sure she feels understood, and having a cause and communication to the conversation or whatever y'all talking about. That's what I had to learn. I can run my mouth all day, but I had to learn the art versus the act of communication.
Definitely.
Hey, I couldn't have put
it
any better.
Bro.
That was amazing.
Facts. Next, let me see where I'm gonna go here. I got my little list over here. Let me see where I want to go with y'all, boy. All right, I'm gonna go to this one. So, what are some things that have helped you grow as men and as husbands that you would suggest to the younger men, the younger generation? I think that's something, again, like, that they have. We can sit here, we can have the conversation, but if we also don't say, hey, this is something that I use, or this is something that one of you use personally, that maybe they'll take down and say, well, I don't want to try this, but let me go try what Harvey said, or let me go try what Dante said, and apply those things. So what are some of those things that y'all might suggest for them?
I think the main thing for me, the most important thing for me, that really helped me grow was environment, was getting away. joining the military was the best decision I could have made. It got me away from the environment, and it opened my eyes to a lot of things that I knew was out there, but I didn't necessarily think I would ever see them. You know,
Right.
So that was the first thing, and then we kind of already touched on it earlier. It's like once I met my wife, and her being who she is, pushing me and making me try new things, just opening up, to the world, just trying to see, what I like, what I don't like, just trying different things, and then just continuing to grow, continuing to build that relationship, just continuing to just test the waters and stuff like that. Like that was the most important thing with me was getting away from the environment that you grew up in, seeing something different, challenging yourself. So yeah, that was the most important thing for me.
All right.
For me, once I decided to become a husband and become an active husband, because there's two different things. Becoming an active husband, I had to realize like everything that I did to get my wife has to be maintained and expounded upon, because I've set a baseline. I've set a standard in dating. So now that you're married, I gotta do more, because a husband means more to a woman than a boyfriend. So if I've done this to be your boyfriend, and now you say, okay, we're gonna do the marriage thing, you got to do more. You got to constantly learn, and humans change every day, men and women. You got to constantly learn your woman as she has to constantly learn you.
Yep, that's that keeping the same energy.
Yeah.
That's what that relate to. Keep that same energy.
Yeah, that's facts.
For me, man, first and foremost, it was God more than anything. First and foremost, but like Tay said, just the change of environment, changing the places I hung out, the people I hung out around, and self improvement, working on myself. Before I even met my wife. I began to just read self-help books. I began to seek out mentors, other men that I look up to, that I can literally look at and be like, man, I could see myself being him. You know what I'm saying? I sought out mentors, mentorship, self-help books, God. I pray a lot more, and not only my prayer changed. I stopped praying for God to send me a perfect woman or a great woman, and I began to pray to Him to help me better myself and become the type of man that a woman would want to even marry. So, this self-help, man, and mentors and God, man, that's what did it for me.
Hey, look, man, I gotta say this real quick. I was at your wedding, man, and for y'all that's still, man, it's probably the best. I know it was your vows, but it was the best wording of somebody's emotion and expression I ever heard in my life. And like, you are really good at that shit, Tego. Like, you might not like to sit behind the microphone or something, but like you got a gift to
you know this ain't
say that, man.
You know this.
Yeah. But you good. Like it's natural. Like I'm pretty sure they can hear it in the conversation. Like it's natural, man. Like you really have a way with words and expressing that shit, and it sounds immaculate. Like for real. I had to say that.
I appreciate that, brother. It must be an Elvis thing.
It gotta be, man. It's in us. It's in us,
man. What helped me, like the brother said, was one, self-help, and I just had to reflect. I had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, is this is this the example you want to set for your daughters? Because like I said in the beginning, I got 3 girls. What if they married a man like you, who you are right now? How you gonna feel? I was like, man, I probably need to do some growing up, because like the brother said, changing your environment and moving away from uh, those familiar or comfortable circumstances around you. The second part to that, especially when you're in the military, people will sing your praises. They'll tell you like, oh, that's a great dude, or yeah, if he said it, it must be legit. You don't get a lot of feedback of the contrary to help you refocus and reflect on who you are, what you're doing, you know. And so I had to stop listening to, all the praises and say, like, what am I doing? Who am I? You know, and like Tego said, you pray to God and to change your heart and to be better, because the word says, "He who finds a wife, a woman, has found a good thing." And so, if I'm going to receive that blessing, I need to make sure that I'm doing what I can do, like Harvey said, to maintain that. Because we went out today for brunch. And sometimes I think, ain't nobody care, man. I'm married. What does it matter if I got on 2 left shoes? It does matter. It really does, because you got to maintain that same level of enthusiasm that you had dating in your marriage. And so for me, it was just reflecting on who I am and this need to grow up. And the word also says, when you get older, you need to put away childish things. And I did that. And one of those things was stop listening to what everybody on the outside is doing. You this person, that person may say this and that is cool, but is it cool and does it jive with your lifestyle, with where you are and where you're trying to go? And so I really had to do some reflecting and some growing up, honestly, and asking myself, am I the husband that she needs, and do I deserve the wife that I have? And so those were some things that made me reflect and grow.
All right. All right. So I think all those points and things are some very good things. I would add, even me now being, the single one out of the group, my son, first off, because of the dynamic that has been created now of him having to have, a divorced parent household, or a split household, wanting to be an example for him. Like I wanted to be the example that I didn't have as a father. Even though the marriage didn't work, I can still show my son, hey, my father was able to, learn from his decisions and mistakes, become a better man, find a wife, and have an example and set an example of what a man and a family is still supposed to look like. That's something that I really, cherish and strive to do. And secondly is looking for those, just kind of like what Tego hit to, the mentors, and not necessarily, someone where I would even sit down and talk to. But when I was young, I wanted to play basketball. I looked at people that were good at basketball. Now I want to learn how to be and understand what it takes to be a husband. So I look at examples of people who are good husbands, such as y'all. Again, why I had y'all up here. I look at y'all from afar. I have conversations with y'all when we around. We, kicking it, just, text messages, group chat communications, all those things. And, apply the different things that I've seen other men who relate to me on multiple levels other than just being black, being, 30s, mid-30s, whatever, just men that I've seen go through the same trials and tribulations as myself and still able to have the things that I attain. Not saying, and this is where the social media part that we're going to talk about come in, not saying, oh, that's couple goals, but nah, I understand and I know what it took for y'all to get where y'all are in y'all relationships in y'all life. I can understand the path and know that stay the course, do what you're supposed to be doing and understand it, and you can get to that end goal for you. Not, hey, I want my marriage to look just like y'all's. That's for anybody who's listening. That is all a myth. Nobody's marriage is the same. Nobody's marriage is 100% sunflowers and lilies. Like, just don't work. But take the good things from those that you know and that you have that understanding and you know them. I know y'all. I wouldn't have this conversation with strangers because I can't relate to them at all. I don't know if they telling me the truth. I don't know if they just saying it to be, saying it, but I know y'all. I know y'all gonna keep it real. So that's how I take and what advice I would give. Look, Kobe wanted to be like Michael Jordan for a reason. He was the best. It's the same concept for me. I'm looking at gentlemen that I have that respect for. Of they did it. They doing it the right way. I want to be in that group. I want to be able to sit down at a table with those gentlemen and have that conversation later on in life. And when I get there, we're going to come back and we're going to run this back, and we'll have that conversation at that time because that's a different conversation too. But that's how I view it. Let me see here. Couple more. I told y'all I'm going to get y'all back to game time. I know that.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to add on the tail end of that, beware when you're looking for your mentors. A good mentor will tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, not just the Instagram version. So, like, I'll tell you straight up, I have not always been the perfect husband. I haven't always been an active husband. But guess what? I want anybody that is using me as like not so much goals, but using me as a mentor. I want them to understand that like marriage is work.
Oh yeah,
It's work every day.
Constant work every day.
Yeah.
You feel me? But guess what? Just like he said, Kobe was the first in the gym and the last out the gym. You feel me? And that's how I feel like that's the same energy I want to bring into my marriage. You feel me?
Exactly.
And I'm gonna go ahead and caveat off of Harvey. My grandmother used to tell me, she said, people say marriage is 50-50. Ain't no way. It's 100, 100.
Mm-hmm.
100, 100. And sometimes it's more than that because she may not have 100. And
To give you at that time.
Yeah, and you got to step up.
I'd be
Because
separate.
just like when you got to accept it.
Yep.
And knowing when you got to play off that.
Yeah. Because there are times with my new job where I tell you what, in Korea, there were plenty of times I'm sitting there working and whatever. And oh my God, I forgot. I got the kid at the house. I got to go make dinner, bro. I got to be back,
Yeah.
She never held it over me. I didn't have 100% at that time, and she understood where I was at. You know what I mean? And so we have to do the same thing. And like Harvey said, being an active husband requires you to look at your mistakes too and say, you know what, I messed up here. How do I get better? Sitting down and being honest with yourself. That was something that helped me grow. Because like Harvey said, I am not the perfect husband. I've just reached decent. I've just attained decent recently.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah. So
Understand.
it's a constant work, and I think that's something that we forget. And then the last part I'll say, for like you said, the young people, and you brought up couple goals. You have no idea what goes beyond behind those closed doors. Exactly. You have no idea. Like we're seeing Johnny Depp and his former wife right now. You know what I mean? 2 A-list movie stars, seemingly a perfect life, going through it. So I think.
Yeah. Furthermore, Will and Jada supposedly perfect life. Come on now.
Perfect life. And you got to learn that, like you said, every marriage is not the same. Exactly. None of us here have the same marriage, the same dynamic, the same interactions even. And so one thing we got to get away from is trying to model ourselves after something that realistically isn't real. What you see on Instagram, the Wendell Tolliver and Casey Tolliver you see on Instagram versus what is going on at Fort Meade, Maryland, can be completely different. But if all you're focusing on is that and not, the reality of what's going on in your life, you're going to miss the whole mark. So I think a lot of us get caught up in this facade of what we believe is real, these shiny objects, as it were, and not the work, the nitty gritty, 100% work required.
Exactly. Next topic we're going to hit. What should our community as a whole, not just the young men, but as a whole, do to create healthier relationships? to even get to the point of marriage?
I think as the main thing, we need to hold each other accountable, right? Right, wrong, and different. Like if I'm out with y'all fellas, and you see, one of us or whatever is going down the road or headed in a direction where it's like, all right, he probably shouldn't be doing that. Instead of being cool with him and being like, oh, he'd be straight. No, hold him accountable. Like right there, go ahead and set it right there. Like hold him accountable. And like I feel like we don't do that, enough with each other. Been guilty of it in the past, not holding each other accountable. But I think as our relationships grow, as we get older, we understand that accountability is it holds a lot more weight than what you used to think, or you just wanted to be the cool person and you really didn't want to step on nobody's toes or anything like that. For me, accountability is probably one of the most important things, and as far as us as a community to help develop those healthier relationships and create them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think in our community, and I'm just gonna be frank, we got to stop BSing about stuff. We want to say, "Oh, I'm a man. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown ass man." But are we doing the things that are necessary? Like he said, like holding your brother accountable. If Harvey's doing wrong, or I'm doing wrong, or you're doing wrong, we're gonna say, "Hey, man, you know better."
Yeah.
You know better than what's going on right now. That's not you, brother. Like, what are you doing? You got stuff to lose. But a lot of times we don't do that. Another thing I think is that we buy into just about anything that sounds good in our community. The loudest person in the room who got the best rhyme, the best jive, we buy into that. We got to start keeping it real with one another. You know what I mean? If you ain't doing good, you ain't doing good. Like I think, what was it? You had three podcasts that hit on mental health. If you're not doing good, you're not doing good. Be honest, be transparent, be open with your brother. Like you said in your Quay's moment, be vulnerable. We got to stop being fake in our community and be real. And if we say we're going to be men, we got to do those things that are necessary to be men, protecting our women, protecting our families, raising up our men. Like two of the brothers talked about, or three. Hey, me and my dad had a real casual relationship, and I'm not sitting here judging like what that relationship was about, but, what are we teaching our young men? I know for you and your son, you want to teach them healthy, real world values, and obviously that's dependent on who the teacher is, but we got to make sure we're raising people who can sustain through the next generation, and the things, and I think we're all around the same age, right? And especially from the South, we can keep some secrets about stuff that we did wrong. Family secrets, community secrets. We got to start being real with each other. And I think that will really, really, really alleviate a lot of the stuff that we go through, because we project and put on these wares, as it says, that just aren't true. They aren't real. If God says, "Hey, where's Abel?" Cain says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" Yeah, you are. If I'm telling Harvey I'm his friend, I need to be honest with Harvey. Sure. I need to keep it real with Harvey. He's going to hold me to a standard. I hold him to a standard. And I think we should just do that in our community. Just be open, honest, and real.
Yeah, I agree 1,000% with both of y'all. Accountability, holding the next man accountable, and another thing I would love to see in our community is conferences that's centered around relationship building. Like some single, you can have single people, married couples, whatever. Just conferences, getting people together, sitting down, having those tough conversations in front of people, being transparent, showing that vulnerability could help someone. Yeah, I would. That would be very helpful, I feel like.
We got to make it cool not to be toxic.
Exactly.
Bingo.
100%.
So
lead by example.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right now, everybody wants to be they want this man's toxic. Oh, I got to be more toxic than him. This woman's toxic. Oh, I got to be more toxic than her. Nah, I'm gonna be happy, healthy, well level. You feel me? Balance. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because once we start doing stuff like that, once we release the toxicity, then we can learn to heal as a community.
Mm.
Yep.
And
Yes,
we got a
sir.
lot of healing to do.
Yes, sir.
I agree.
100%.
A lot of hurt people out here hurting people. That's a fact.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
that's exactly what I was gonna hit on too, Tego. Like, and I think our community uses that hurt as
An
like it's
excuse.
kind of like we expect it, so everything is done out of the fear of, oh, sooner or later this person gonna hurt me. Sooner or later I'm gonna be hurt again. And I don't think that is beneficial when you try to get to that point of the healthy relationship or building something with somebody when you already coming in with 1 foot out the door because you expect it's only a matter of time before this person does exactly what I've been expecting them to do because X, Y, and Z did it or the last person did it instead of actually accepting what that person is offering you because we are not all the same. Everybody doesn't have a vendetta or something, a plan to hurt the next person. But that fear of going into it is like, oh man, like it shocks me every day when I see so many people on social media who are just like, I think I'm just about to give up on love and just be, single for the rest of my life. And because to me that's I don't know, like we all die alone, but I don't want to die alone. Because that's scary. You get what I'm saying? Like to just be like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm 25, 26 years old, 30 years old, just say, all right, I'm done with it. I don't know. To me, I think that's just more fear than actual, anything else. So I think we have to let go of that fear and actually be open to the fact that somebody out there is willing to go all the way with this just like I am. We just have to meet that person.
Hey,
I think one of the things.
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Okay. I think one of the things we could do to help heal our community, like the brother was saying, a lot of hurt people, is letting these young people know it's okay to be yourself, and it's okay to express yourself, especially the young black man. When does he get to be a boy? Just have fun and be a boy. At what point does he get to be a kid? Because I remember being a kid, and you got these rules and cultural things and society things, standards you gotta maintain. Like, brother, I'm 6. I just want to play kickball.
You gotta be
Yeah.
tough. You gotta be, hey,
Yeah.
this is what a
You gotta
man
be
is.
hard.
I think that go back to like when we started of how at that young age and your youth, our view of women and dating. I think that's how that was created. Like, hey, this go get them. Like that's what it was. It wasn't a hey, this is how you talk to a girl. This like I tell people all the time, like having to learn or teach yourself how to court women and date that's not something you should have to do as a young man. But I'm pretty sure most of us had to do that. Like if you didn't have an older brother or a cousin or somebody that you saw and you could talk to, but even then, their mindset was probably like ours. So it wasn't like, hey, you ask her out, you open her door for her, you pull her chair out, you let her order first. We had to learn that. Like I had to learn that. So and that's something also that society like, and this for the women out here, for the ladies out here, like give a little leeway for the guys that may not have it all together in that department because 9 times out of 10 they probably weren't taught it, and they trying to figure it out. Like pretty sure y'all can vouch. Going on them first few dates, that shit was weird as hell. You ain't know you're doing it right. You just you seen it on movies and TV, so you trying to emulate what you see, but you ain't really have nobody there to coach you through the situation. And when you come back, hey, good job. You did it. Oh, you forgot to do that. All right, next time you got it. It was all trial and error. So that's a big thing, man. Like teaching that and putting that into the community and to the youth.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you said that you didn't about not having somebody to teach you and show you things. One big thing in my relationship right now, and it is huge for my wife and my daughter. So my wife grew up very independent. Her parents raised her to be independent. That's perfectly fine. I have no issue with that. But now that I'm in the picture, it's little things that you have to surrender.
Yeah.
And one of the main
Mhm.
things that I'm drilling in both of their heads, you do not walk on my outside. You can't do that.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't, a lot of men nowadays don't understand it, but it's something as simple as that. You feel me? So the same grace that I allot her with that, I expect it in return.
I agree.
So the
Mm.
same grace with anything that I expect her to give to me, I should give to her in return. And we got to start doing that, because we don't allow any grace for anything. It's like, well, you should know how to do this. You're a woman. Well,
Yeah.
you should know how to do this. You're a man. Like, we wasn't taught that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
I
it's
agree.
a whole. I'm not trying to raise no man. Well, I'm not trying to raise a woman. You know how to be an independent woman. You don't know how to be a wife.
That's
Yeah.
it.
You don't know how to be a teammate. You don't know how to be a helpmate.
Teammate.
You
Yeah.
feel me?
Yep. Again, it's all about the outlook. The outlook is how you, because
One more
again, you could hold on, we could take. You could paint it as, I'm not trying to teach you how to do this, or I'm not trying to raise a man. But if I'm getting into a bond or a relationship with somebody I don't know, there's stuff about me or things about how I maneuver that I have to teach you. And it's stuff that I have to show you to do that you may not have done with somebody else for me. So in this,
Exactly.
you have to teach and nurture that stuff out of people. They don't just come knowing the rule book to who you are. So I ain't mean to cut you off.
No. You good, brother. You good, brother. But I actually wanted to ask you something you said earlier. You was like being 26, these 26, 27-year-olds out here saying they giving up on finding love, or a lot of that fear comes from past trauma, this childhood trauma
Mhm.
that grown adults refuse to sit down and deal with and,
Yep.
Yep.
and heal from. So they just going about their life, taking it out on every individual they meet.
Yep.
So you can't create healthier relationships in the community if everybody hasn't dealt with their own personal issues.
Mhm.
100%. That's 100% true. And that's another reason I wanted to have this conversation at this time is, like you said, the dealing with that trauma, that those issues. We hit on mental health a few times in this conversation. Being that this is Mental Health Awareness Month, like that's a big part of any relationship. Your
Hey, listen,
partner could be the greatest person in the world, but if you haven't dealt with the stuff inside of you that you need to deal with, they'll never be able to experience the greatness in you. Like you will always just keep pulling out of them, pulling out of them, pulling out of them.
Mhm.
And sooner or
Mhm.
later, that cup gonna get empty. And again,
Mhm.
I learned that the hard way. That's why I'm here and I'm able to have that conversation. I learned that the hard way. Me sitting down with a therapist over this last year has been one of the most eye-opening things for me, because it got me. I learned a lot about myself. I've been, pretty self-aware for y'all that know me, but having those conversations about to someone who's gonna, really, really get in detail with it, taught me and
Mhm.
showed me like, yeah, I understand, I get it, I see, like I had to work through that. The communication thing, that was something that my therapist was big about, doing other things outside of what I like to do, that type of stuff. So that healing, man, that healing is important, because you would never be able to make nobody else happy if you don't make yourself better and make yourself happy.
And I just want to ask a question. How many of the gentlemen here have been to therapy?
60-minute warning.
hey, my wife is a therapist, so I basically
Oh, you got the cheat code. You get it for free. That ain't fair.
listen. My wife been a therapist for about 15 years now. I've had to have conversations with her that I haven't had with anybody in my life.
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first after my first marriage deteriorated, and I came into this new one, I wanted to go to therapy, and it wasn't cool when I started going to therapy. But that's until somebody told me. I had a big homie pull me to the side and was like, "Hey, maybe you should get some therapy." I was like, nah, I'm not weak. He said, you know what? Just look at it this way. It is very refreshing to unload all of your problems on somebody that, one, is paid to listen, two, is paid to try to help you figure it
Mm-hmm.
out, and three, will not throw it back in your face later.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact.
That's a
It's a
fact.
fact.
That's
Yeah.
So figure it out. I, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go try it. And hey, I don't know. A therapy session for me can be as fun as a game of 2K or Madden.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Just get in there and
Uh,
load it, and oof, weight off your shoulders.
yeah. For me, I think that was a part of that was something early on in my marriage that me and my wife did. We sat down, we had those conversations. Some things it's kind of hard to let a person know and stuff like that. But once we start having those conversations and then going to therapy, it really opened doors and it brought us closer together than what we were. And then over the course of the years, we just continued, you know, having those therapy sessions, sessions after sessions, some together, and then having some separate therapy sessions. I think we still had the same therapist that we done had since what, like year two of our marriage. So she's been around for a while, so she knows. So yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, like having a therapist that knows both of y'all, and then just continuing to go to therapy, because at the end of the day, it's gonna always be something new that keeps coming up. Like it's gonna always be issues. It's gonna always be bumps in the road that you're gonna have to continue to work through. So having that outlet is definitely a key.
Yeah.
And
Right.
piggyback off of you, man. The great thing about that couple therapy is the therapist is non-biased. She's not on nobody's side. She
Yeah,
or he
facts.
no one side. It's not like you're going to sit down and talk to your homeboy or a family member who they're
Yeah.
gonna take your side or take your girl's side or be mad at her or be mad at you and never forgive you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Hold on to it forever.
exactly that's the great thing about going to couples therapy or just a therapist in general. Just that non-biased opinion and help.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes it don't feel too nice when you on
Nah.
the negative end of that. It's like, now
Yeah.
you know you wrong, but whoa, no, she's
Facts.
wrong.
I recommend
Facts, man.
anybody, man, whether you're in a relationship or not, man, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
sit down and
I
talk about your
I
problem.
agree. I agree, man. And if you are in a relationship and y'all having, bumps and bruises, get it sooner than later, because you try to wait and use it as a last resort tactic. And all right, we've seen how it go. It might
Hmm.
not help, man. It might be too late, because you are
Yep.
the healing that should have took place and the understanding that should have took place months, years prior to that. You can't fix that in a couple sessions and say, all right, we did it. Now let's go and be good again. Because once you leave out of that hour session, she's still gonna be mad or he's still gonna be mad, and they still gonna feel
Hmm.
like I'm done with this. So the sooner the
Yeah.
better. We all have things about us that we need to build and we need to work on. So get the help. Like that alone shows the person of the opposite sex that you are trying to grow and better yourself, that you're willing to go get help. So I recommend it a lot, man. I recommend it a lot.
And there's one thing I can say that I've learned and from therapy sessions, from mentors, other people, how you project yourself out in that world is how people are going to perceive you, and that's going to be their interaction with you.
Oh
So
yeah.
if you're out here subconsciously, consciously, whatever, portraying the lifestyle of a single man, you're by fault disrespecting your wife, whether you know it or not. If you're out here not projecting yourself as being someone engaged in a serious, ongoing marriage, not just a contract marriage or something for fun, for play, you're not treating your wife with the respect she deserves. And that's something I had to learn the hard
Hmm.
way from those therapy sessions, from those being open and honest, and other people calling me out on my BS. It's like, hey man, look at how you look. What if she did that? And
Yeah.
not reading into social media. Keep your private life private, right? I see a lot of young people just they'll just tell it. man, go talk to the offender, go talk to that person.
Yep.
And like we've all been saying, build that up so both of you can heal, so you can heal. You know, a lot of people get into these relationships, these marriages or whatever, and they have so much baggage. You know, you're bringing in something, she's bringing in something, and now you both are like have this dirty laundry you got to swap through. You know, like you said earlier, get that stuff healed, so that way you can learn how to carry yourself, you can learn how to deal with certain things, and you can learn how to help build when necessary in other aspects. Because otherwise, it's just, as we've been saying, two toxic people, hurt, mad. You have a predisposed notion that this isn't going to work anyway. All like we've been talking about in our little chat, you know, men being disrespected by women anyway, or women being disrespected by men. You know, we have these preconceived notions. And then there's one thing my grandmama taught me. She said, folks gonna show you who they really are once they get in an argument. Once they get mad, they're gonna show you. And that's when all that stuff, that hurt, is gonna come out. And like you said, it may be too late to get therapy after that hurt done come out. You know, after you've put that out there, you know, so get it done early, and don't let that affect how you are and who you are.
I think the last thing I want to add real quick too, man, is keeping your relationship private between you and your wife.
If
so
I had gunshots, bro, I'd let them go.
Like that right there, like keeping your relationship between you and your wife, like alleviating all the outside noise, you know, the people that want to be, you know, the helpers and try to help you with, you know, or you venting to them and just that type of thing, man. Like just keeping your relationship private between you and your wife, and not letting any of that outside noise get to you. Like, man, it's definitely gonna help y'all get better as a you know, for y'all relationship, y'all marriage, you know, whatever it is. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because some of those helpers are actually next in line, and they just trying to get whoever out of the way. So
best advice me and my wife ever received, man. People out your business, family, friends, I don't care who it is.
Yep.
Marriage is between three people, y'all two and God. That's it.
Exactly.
If y'all,
especially family.
Therapy, they're obligated to your secrecy. They can lose they can lose their license for disclosing your business. So you, relationship, God, your therapist, that's it.
Yo, my mama used to tell me all the time. She's like, baby, don't bring your problems to me. I love you to death. But if you forgive her, I don't know if I might not be able to.
Exactly. Because
family and friends don't forgive even after you have.
Because people's loyalty is gonna show, and that's just the way it is. Your loyalties are gonna be to the person that you have that loyalty to. And the moment they mad, now you mad. Then they back happy. Now you over here like, man, what in the world? It's hard for people to come back from that. It's hard.
Yeah, especially in family. Like one thing I learned. You may have either someone in your family that wants you to be sad or miserable or going through the struggle like they are. Men ain't nothing, women ain't nothing. Or B, they ain't ever going to accept who you love for whatever reason, whatever purpose, and everything you bring to them is going to keep it going. It's just going to further that point.
That type of woman.
I done told you, you and your little friend, you know, you and your little friend coming over, you know, it's always something, you know. And you would think, well, I could take it to my family. They love me. They care. That's right. They love you. They ain't got nothing for that spouse of yours. You know what I mean? And it's something we all have to be cognizant about. Like the brother said, like we've all been saying, keeping your marriage behind closed doors. It's not because you're embarrassed or ashamed, but that's because those are the two people involved. Those are the two people concerned. And nobody else is going to understand the way you do. You know, because you can tell it that somebody else is going to hear it from a different point of view, and next thing you know, you got somebody else, and who knows who they gonna tell, unless, like you said, a therapist that's legally obligated. Because otherwise, as we know, let's just be real, black folks gonna gossip.
Yep.
They gonna tell it. They gonna tell your business, especially if you say, "All right, don't tell nobody you heard it from me." but you know, Will and Casey going through it right now, don't you? Especially in the church, they gonna tell it.
That's
Oh yeah.
So keep it between you, God, and I pray you get a therapist, because otherwise,
And for the young viewers out there that's listening and watching, I know it may seem like we're contradicting ourselves because you want a mentor that's going to tell you that they've been through it. But guess what? The mentor is telling you that they've been through it. So once you start going through, hey, I've been through it.
Yeah.
You're getting it from all angles here. Like this is a conversation I've been wanting to have for a long time.
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be the right moment, because this is
we
it
not
ain't gonna
going
get no
in,
it ain't gonna get no realer than this. You're gonna hear the truth.
exactly. We don't have to go in depth on what you did. Just know that if I know that you're going through it, hey, I've been through it too, something, and I made it out. So I think you could do it too.
Yeah.
If your
Facts.
mind right and your head on, you can get through it too. Because I didn't, and you are. I know what I did personally. So if I know I made it through, you know what I made it through, I know you could do it too. And
Facts.
it could be just as vague as that.
That's a fact.
This is gonna be we're gonna end it on this. So this is the last question. Then I give y'all a chance to say any last thing y'all want to say. Now y'all get a chance, to throw some love and flowers to your wives out there. So when they see this part of this segment, they'll know you went in. But what are some things that no, that ain't the one I wanted to do. Where does it go? There we go, right here. What are some ways that your wives have contributed to your growth that you didn't realize that you needed?
Hey, you got time?
I got time.
Look, for me, my wife is my number one fan. She is my biggest cheerleader. She is team Othello, team Lamar, team Harvey all the way.
Team Tar Heels. Well, that's another episode.
She definitely is team Tar Heels. You feel me? So when we when I go through stuff and I get down, like, I'm a very confident individual as it is already. But it's certain things that I need reassurance in. And without a second thought, my wife is there. It's certain things that I might procrastinate on. Without a second thought, my wife's there like, hey, you said this was the goal. Let's get to it. Let's knock this out. You're a very goal-oriented person. Let's move on. You feel me? I told my wife, come rain, sun, or hail, I was buying a house this year. This was a year ago. We've been on our house for a year. You feel me? She put that battery in my back. I did what I had to do to get it done. And no matter what obstacle came our way, we got it done together. So she's always, if I can turn to anybody, I could turn to my wife. And as a man, I needed that. Because sometimes we be out here in these streets looking for that type of support, but you can't find it in just one person. So now I got 5 of them, but it's kind of hard to, this one is only good at making me feel good here. This one's only good at making me feel good here. This one's only good for this. And well, she just looked nice and she make me feel good. So I'm gonna keep her around too. I don't need none of that because I got one. You feel me?
That's what's up.
I think. Go ahead.
Brother. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
For me, it started like in the beginning. Even in the dating phase, of our relationship. My wife was always knew how to push me. She always knew how to if I was, kind of down or having issues with, something at work or whatever it was. Cause my wife know me, I'm very hard on myself when it comes to things. I like to make sure stuff's done and it has to be done a certain way. Like that's just me. I've always been that way. And she's always had a way of pushing me, just always been able to push me. And she's never led me wrong. Like every time she pushes me or told me something, you know, hey, don't give up, baby. Keep going, keep going. You know, it's going to get better. You know, things always work out, you know, in the favor for both of us. You know, when it comes to my career, because I'll be the first to tell you, I don't think I'd be in the military still if it wasn't for my wife. Because there's been so many times I've been ready to just, you know, be like, you know what, I'm done with this. Fuck this. I'm getting out, and I'm gonna figure it out. But you know, she's always been there, and she's always, nope, you don't give up. We don't give up. You know, in the moments like that, you know, early on, and that goes back to one of the questions earlier. That was one of the qualities that I seen in her early on, and I knew I had to keep her around. I knew I had to keep her, and eventually I was gonna have to make her mine, because if not, I ain't want the next person to get that quality. And then I'm just sitting back like, man, I could have made that decision a long time ago, and I didn't make it. So, yeah, I said all that to say, like, you know, without her, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be as successful as I am today. And going forward, it's only going to get better. You know, we continue to grow together, continue to build, you know, and just have that foundation and set that good example, you know, for the younger generation to look at and model and see, okay, we can do this. This is, you know, this is something that we can do. You know, I like that, you know, and just going forward with that, man. Like, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say mine without getting too emotional, but the one thing my wife told me that she gave me, whether God forbid we make it, we don't make it, whatever. She said, Wendell, you deserve this love. You're a good person too. You deserve to be loved. And that was something I never thought about. I literally had never thought about. You know, a lot of times we as men, much less black men, don't receive that affection. And people just want to point out, you know, especially those of us in this age bracket, a little bit older, you know, there was that point where Clinton's wife came on and she said black men are super predators, right? A little oversimplification of the statement, but super predators. You're not going to make it past 21. You know, robbery, violent crime, drug offenders, all these other things that were put on us as, like we said earlier, as boys. And you're just like, you know, you just live this tough life, so you don't think you deserve this love. And she told me, she's like, you deserve this love. It's okay to be loved. It's okay to accept and receive love. And it just blew my mind. It blew my mind, you know, and it was subconsciously, I'm just like, okay, yeah, duh. My mom loves me. My grandma loves me. The people at church, they love me. But I never thought about love from another person, that eros love, you know what I mean? The agape love, I knew, the family love, I knew, but the love from just another person, just as you are right now. And that really changed my perspective on a lot of things. And it helped me grow, you know, since being married. At work, we joke, you know, as military folk, you know, you gotta be tough, right? But I've gotten a real soft, you know what I mean? And not just soft in terms of like, oh, I cry at Bambi, so much more compassion. You know what I mean? It helps me interact with my soldiers, with my subordinates. Because I think, do you really want someone just you all the time, just knife handing the dickens out of you just cause? Or would you rather someone would you be more receptive than someone coming with you with some respect, with some compassion? And like we talked about the previous segment, having that healing, I don't have to do what my NCO did to me. I don't have to be that reflection of just being a cold-hearted guy. Because you guys knew me in Korea. There was no mercy. There was no stopping. You know, special tolerance, whatever I said, that's what it was. You know, half cocked on soju, on whiskey or whatever. That's what it was. The job's getting done. But now I can enter into it with a different viewpoint, because that love has healed and helped me grow, that I didn't even think was necessary. Didn't even think was missing. So she taught me that really love can heal. You know, it can really help heal, and you can grow in ways you never thought possible. I've been able to reach so many soldiers. Like I can't emphasize it enough. So many, I can tell you frankly, several potential suicides because I could just come off this heel of being this tough, big mandingo black man and just be Wendell and reach somebody because somebody's love penetrated me and helped me grow, you know, and that was the biggest thing, was just accepting that somebody loves me.
That's what's up.
Man, I'm a I'm gonna keep this as short and sweet as possible because anybody that knows me knows I cannot talk about my wife for more than 2 minutes without crying. Uh, that woman has contributed to my growth as a human being in ways that I can't even fathom. And it started from the first time I met her. I mean, our first real conversation. The first thing she said to me was, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?"
Off rip.
Like out the gate, I wasn't even thinking that far. I've never thought that far ever in my life until she asked me, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" So, and she's the most toughest, smartest woman I have ever met in my life. Man, she covers me all the flaws that the world don't see. That's because of her. She sends me out into this world with my chest out, head up. Hey, you a black man. You the priest of this household. You a king. You our leader. Every time you leave here, you are a reflection of us. You are a reflection of God. Listen.
It's all right, bro. Let it out. That's what we're here for. Let it out.
Yeah, that's real right there.
That's my everything, man. That's my everything, bro. Like I can't even put it into words, bro. She's just been everything for me. Like I literally wouldn't be as confident as I am. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be a tenth of the man I am today without her. Period.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Like, and I wanted to end it that way with it kind of coming, full circle of, I asked everybody, how long you been married, your family dynamic, and I started off early, how were you prior to the marriage? And everybody, we all gave our information, gave our background and how we view stuff. So I wanted to end it on that note of, once we talked about the marriages and the things that you look for, that you put into, that you try to get out, because again, this is all about us, reaching those black men and young black men. I wanted to end it with black men telling black women how much they are appreciated and respected and cherished and cared about, because we all know how it goes. Again, we talked about the social media thing a little bit, but that's something that our black women have been telling us for a while, that they don't hear it, they don't feel it, they don't see it, they don't get it. So I wanted to end it that way. So I appreciate all y'all for those words, and your wife, your women, in general, because again, I know Casey isn't African American, but the conversation that I wanted to have is for black men to younger black men or other black men. Because again, y'all, I wanted this conversation because I wanted to take away from y'all, not just for the viewers, but for myself too. So I wanted to end it that way with y'all wives getting that respect and that love and that, though, hearing those words from y'all that they deserve to hear because of what they've done and how they've impacted y'all. So on that note,
real quick before you end, bro. I want to challenge any black couple, any couple, all right, for that matter, that get away from the social media, just get away from all that, right? Take you and your spouse, your kids, the dogs, cats, whatever, and do something different. Just try something different as a family. right? Just get away from the norm and allow y'all to build that relationship, that bond, make it, that much more. Try something different and see how things go from there, right? I think that'll definitely let you know as a person, how much do you really know about your spouse? How much do you really know about your kids? It could be as simple as going to take them, y'all going on a walk, and then you realize, oh, well, my kids like to do this, or they like to hike, or it just opened doors for some new opportunities, for the family. So I challenge anybody to get out the comfort zone as a family and try something different. And then also, last thing, bro, I want to give you your flowers, as they like to say, and let you know I'm proud of you, everything you're doing, especially you, raising Quay, being that father figure, setting the example for him and letting him know, like, hey, this is what a real man is supposed to be. So as far as, us having this conversation, me being able to see you do it in real time, man, I just want to tell you, man, I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'm support you. I'm here for you 100%, bro. And I love you.
Appreciate that,
I
bro.
echo those sentiments, brother. You doing amazing,
Amazing job.
I second that, bro. I second
Appreciate
that.
that, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that from you.
Tell you all the time, bro. Your growth is inspiring, bro.
I appreciate it.
Whether you know it or not, you always, ever since I known you, you've been the same. All across the board. Stand up. So we appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all too, man. Y'all boys got me here a little emotional and shit, man. But I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all though, man, because I can echo and reflect everything back same way to y'all, man. I wouldn't have asked y'all to do this if I didn't view y'all in such high regard as gentlemen and black men. Like, I'm honored to have black men like y'all in my circle. Like, that's 100% without a doubt. And y'all know me. Y'all know how I get down. Like, phone call, text away, I'm there, I'm here. Whatever we gotta do, we're gonna make it shake. And I know that vice versa. I know it's vice versa from y'all, man. So I wanted when they watch this, when they see this, they'll know that's an authentic conversation. This ain't just some stuff they wanted to talk about. Like, it's real. Y'all got over here, y'all were vulnerable. Y'all gave real insight of who y'all were throughout the stages of y'all life up until now. Like, everybody can't do that. Everybody not even willing to do that. So I appreciate y'all for doing that, man. And we're gonna keep building on this. We're gonna keep building on this. Like I said, we're gonna come back. We're gonna address this at some point in time. And I'm gonna be at the table with y'all. I'm gonna be here flossing the ice with y'all boys, and we're gonna have another level of that conversation and keep growing, man. And I want y'all boys to continue to grow into the men that y'all have become and are becoming, because I've seen the growth from I've known all of y'all at least 5-6 years now.
Yeah, it's at least 5.
So I seen the growth. We've been since kids, So I seen the growth, and I understand the growth and the stuff that we go through as black men out here. So continue doing what y'all do, man. Y'all are examples for a lot of people, whether y'all believe it or not. A lot of people look up to y'all as men and as fathers and as husbands and as just gentlemen. Like, I like to call y'all gentlemen because that's what y'all are. So again, I appreciate it, man. Y'all boys have did me a lot of just do with this one. And as always, y'all boys stay safe, man. Be blessed. I appreciate y'all.
And I got a couple things to say when you're done.
You go ahead.
So I just want to say, one, all y'all have inspired me. Obviously I just met 2 of y'all, but I really appreciate your words, your openness, your vulnerability, and it's given me some food for thoughts for some growth. Harvey Edwards, we go back way long time. We're what, almost 7-8 years deep now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate y'all boys for having me on. I appreciate your words, your vulnerability, and your honesty, building on our friendship. Edwards, I'm just going to jump on in again. Thanks for having me for a second time. You're doing amazing with your podcast, with your raising of your young king, man. Thank you for that positive imagery. And I'm just going to be, me, because you know who I am, how I get down. My wife cooked with spices, brother. Okay, she ain't 100% black. She's Mexican. We get spices in our house on our cooking. The chicken is done. The deviled eggs has paprika, and the lemonade and sweet tea is sweet. So we good over here. We good. For anybody listening, the food is Gucci. Man. Trust me. Tacos on the regular.
And before we get out here, like for y'all to even give me those the flowers and things like that, I want to give a shout out to Imani, Quay J mom, because she allowed me to do that. She allowed me to be that father, and that's something y'all know. I don't take that for granted. I don't take that for granted at all. Like, that woman is amazing. Like, the guy who does end up with her, he got him a great woman, and I'll be happy and I'll be front row at the wedding to see her get her day and be happy. So to her, shout out to her. She deserved that, man. But we're gonna end this.
That's growth.
We're gonna end this on that note, man, because people gonna see me cry, man. Y'all know, too gangster for that. But but it's real, man. But I appreciate y'all boys, man. This has been another episode. I'm gonna put this at top episode of the Quality Time Podcast so far, man. And we're gonna get out on that note, man. So y'all hold it down, man. I appreciate y'all boys.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right. Take it easy.